welcome back to the Hushlife podcast. What are our thoughts?
That sounded like we're on a late night talk show.
Yeah, it's just cheesy enough.
Yeah. Just cheesy enough.
Is there a band in the background somewhere?
So I have that one, and then I have Funky Blues.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like intermission time.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Guys, welcome back. This is Hushlife podcast. We are sitting in a bunkhouse. Currently, right now, it's about 11 p.m., and we were watching it snow.
In the middle of South Dakota.
In the middle of South Dakota.
At Turkey Camp.
At Turkey Camp with our good buddy. Luke, you're going to have to pronounce your last name.
Luke Torkelson.
Torkelson.
Mm-hmm.
I was way off.
I slaughter it every time.
No, everybody does. It's just what happens.
Where does it come from?
It's Norwegian.
You look very Norwegian.
Yeah.
Viking, right?
If you like break it out, Thor is Tor.
Yeah.
Killed.
Killed.
Kin, like Sin is son, like descendant son of Thor.
That's a good way to remember it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we have our really good buddy Luke from Weatherby. He invited us down here for an annual turkey hunt that they do.
Yeah. Technically, shout out to Ken Byers. He's the one
Yeah.
that puts it on, and we do some stuff with Ken, and he knows how to get turkeys on the ground.
Yeah, we'll get into that because my mind is blown. We've literally been here. Me and Logan flew in, landed in South Dakota yesterday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Jumped in the truck with Luke, drove a couple hours, and we've been here for just over 24 hours now, probably 30 hours total.
Yes.
Yep.
And some things have happened.
Quickly. Real quick.
Very quickly.
Real quick.
So basically the program is our good buddy Ken Byers puts on this turkey hunt with some people in the industry every year. And lucky enough, Luke extended the invite to come to bring us down here. We actually were supposed to do this last year, and the old Rona shut us down.
The Rona, man, that stuff's the worst.
The Rona shut us down. So this is something I've been looking forward to for a couple of years, because the way Ken explained it to me a couple of years ago was it is turkey action in your face.
It's true. Like, you haven't really turkey hunted until you're fanning birds to, like, finish in your face.
Yeah. What do they call it? Reaping?
They call it reaping, and they call it reaping for a reason.
It's effective.
You feel as though you're holding a 8-foot scythe in the field of death, is what I've experienced so
That's
far.
a good way to explain
really
it.
Well said.
We're talking about, the actual reaper tool.
Yeah.
So let's get into maybe some tactics that these guys use in comparison to some other turkey hunts I've done anyway.
Yeah, I want to just go on record first off and say I am not an expert turkey hunter. That's not my bag.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here right now is
Nobody that's speaking right now
an expert. So
is even considered a moderate turkey hunter.
if you're looking for expert level advice, probably not going to find it from us.
What we can talk about now, I feel like, is a very effective way. And let me say that different. I have observed what they do and have learned a lot about how to get turkeys in close.
Yes.
Which is something that I've struggled with in the past.
I would say, the majorities of my experiences out chasing turkeys, and mostly by myself, I've learned a lot, but they've all been through failures, right?
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot of things not to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like in the last 30 hours, I've learned a lot of things of what to do.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
And so I'd say, if anything, like hunting or anything in life, always do those things with people that are way better than that.
Surround
Than you?
yourselves by people that are good at stuff.
Yeah. And you'll learn way more.
So it started off on the fly. We landed yesterday. We showed up to camp, and we were the only hunters in camp when we showed
Well,
up.
everyone
They were out.
Yeah.
There's the first wave was out, and we're kind of like wave 1.2.
So we're trying to feel things out. We've never seen the bunkhouse before. We're trying to kind of figure things out.
We didn't know where to put our stuff.
And what did Ken say? Who's going to come take care of us?
He said Shawshank's going to come get us.
I vividly remember you getting off the phone and say, well, I guess we're looking for a guy named Shawshank.
Which I think Casey said something about, well, I hope he gets us some redemption.
Yeah.
That was Logan's joke, actually.
Pretty
I'll give it to
solid
him.
joke on my part.
Yeah, so we land, get to camp. No one's here. Everyone's out bird hunting. Like I said, we got here about 5:36 yesterday evening, and trying to fill things out. And Luke gets on the phone with Ken,
Yeah.
and Ken says, "Yeah, my buddy Shawshank will be there in 10."
Yeah.
We were no, I'm not gonna lie, and Shawshank turned out to be a phenomenal human being. Toby Shaw.
No question. Yeah.
But when he said that, we were all preparing ourselves with weaponry.
Yeah.
Right?
Like he might shiv us or something.
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect.
We were not profiling the name Shawshank. So if your name is Shawshank, it was just new to us.
First of all, great nickname
Yeah,
or
first
real
of all,
name.
yes,
But
exactly.
yeah.
So we're not even really getting our camo on yet because we're not aware of the program. I think Luke said, like, yeah, we'll probably go out and, like, take inventory. You know, we just got here. It's encroaching evening.
Do some shopping, some window shopping.
Yeah, for sure.
Safe
Just
to-
get a lay of the land. Like, hopefully we'll tag along with somebody that's actively hunting,
Yeah.
run a camera,
Get some footage,
get some content. Sweet.
which we ended up doing.
We did. We did.
Because first of all, me nor Logan have ever stepped foot in the state of South Dakota.
Right.
Yeah.
Luke,
I've been a few times to do a fair amount of pheasant hunting, but I'm in Wyoming. Like we're
You're not far.
We're neighbor states.
Yeah.
So we get here, and we're trying to figure out the program, and it's okay. We're gonna go out. Hopefully, we'll film somebody. We'll see what this style of getting birds in close with by fanning them in, and we go out there, and we get first of all we get geared up real quick. We throw some clothes on. And
we throw other clothes. We had clothes on. Let's just
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We throw some.
We were fully
throw
clothed,
some
I
camo.
believe. Yeah.
We grab our first light. We get decked out, and like we don't even really have shotguns ready to go because like mentally, I don't think any of us were prepared to just go out and start hunting. I don't know why I didn't feel ready.
Well, we had just showed
But-
up.
That's kind of my
Yeah.
program, though. Like, especially if you roll into camp like later in the day, I feel like I just want to like get prepared because I'm never prepared when I get here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know I have camo in my bag, I have my boots and stuff, but like camera equipment, we gotta get ready. We gotta pull out of the bag, get the things strapped on. We gotta get everything on that end ready. Gotta get weapons ready, right?
Yeah.
Ammo's here, guns there. Anyway. So that's just kind of how I roll most of the time. I'm good. I don't need to dive into this thing right now. Tomorrow morning will come early enough.
I'm the same way. I typically like whoever's our guest to like shoot first and like let's just do that.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to Shaw and I'm like, so which one of you guys is the hunter? He's like, no, you guys are hunting. I'm like, okay. And Casey's like, Luke, you're shooting first.
Luke, you're up.
So we threw our camo on. We put on our costumes. We hopped in. We went up to the spot, and it's like, there's some birds.
Yeah. So the way part of the program they do is these guys don't do a lot of blind hunting. They lay eyes on birds before they ever really get out of the pickup truck, which I think is awesome. I think it's a very effective way to hunt anything.
Also a great way to hunt antelope, for the record.
Exactly. So they're not going to do a lot of blind calling. So they had seen these birds earlier in the day, and we went back to check on them, and sure enough, there was a group of birds.
Yeah, but it was far enough away that we couldn't say, oh, there's a Tom, a Jake, and some hens. It was just like, it looks like there's one strutter with some other birds.
Yeah.
And we get out there, and we're like, okay, if we go, we can park here, we'll go down, around, come up, and maybe if everything works out just right, we'll try to fan this Tom in.
And we had a grip of dudes. Like, there was 6 of us total, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a full crew.
Which makes it tough because turkeys, if you've never hunted them, they have excellent eyesight. I never knew that the first couple years I hunted them. They can see very well. So trying to hide 6 guys is tough, especially in this country. Mm-hmm. This is very different country than other places I've hunted. It's not. There is some thickets down by the rivers and creeks. There's some thick trees, but for the most part, it's pretty open.
It's real open.
Very glassable.
Yeah.
So we put the vortex to use, spotted some birds, made a plan, and I designated Luke to be the shooter, and we start continuing on our plan to get around on these birds. And about, 5 minutes into it, Mr. Shaw looked at me and goes, "Where's your shotgun?" I said,
Yeah.
"Luke's the shooter." He goes, "Dude, we have to have 2 shooters." I'm like, "Well, sorry, I'm not shooting."
When we asked about the whole program, you didn't give us that detail.
Yeah, it's pretty important, I guess.
So we're walking, and so now Shawshank's making fun of Casey because Casey doesn't have a gun, and it worked out because there was only the one, one Tom.
I think,
and I kind of knew that going in because I'm just a really seasoned turkey hunter.
I think Shaw's exact words was he looked at you and not having a shotgun and said, "I thought you guys were killers."
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he
did
said.
say that.
That's right.
Well, let's back it up even more. This is our introduction to Shaw. Meet him for like 10 minutes. Get ready. Get to the place. I do see the birds they were looking at.
Oh, yes.
And then I start glassing all around, and in my head, this is how it works. Like, oh, there's some birds. There's got to be birds everywhere.
For sure.
So I started glassing down this little canyon. And, I mean, I glassed up what even was it?
I
believe
how
it was
came
a
out. You
5-gallon black metal bucket.
Well, this is how it came out of your mouth was, oh, I got some more birds down here. Oh, yeah, strutter. There's a strutter. Is that what you call them? Strutters?
And I was trying to find out the right terminology.
I'm looking because I'm like interested. Like, oh man, there's more birds. This trip's gonna be epic. Casey, are you talking about that bucket out there?
So, and then Shaw laughed and made fun of me there, and then he definitely made fun of me for not packing my shotgun, and I politely tapped him on the shoulder. I go, how are things going so far?
So how we doing, buddy?
What's your thoughts?
Well, so we saw the turkeys from the car, and then we walked, 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
We tried to get around them.
Kind of played the land. Got to an area they couldn't see all 6 of us. And then there was a berm to a flat, and that's where we were heading.
Yeah, so this was my first time hunting with these guys, so I wasn't real sure what this fanning business was all about. I've seen some videos, and I mean it's cool, but we put eyes on the turkeys. There's definitely a tom, and Toby gets the fan out, and he puts it up there, and he gives a little and they're looking. And that tom apparently does something really weird. He moved back behind the hens. So he put the hens between him and us. And Toby's like, birds don't, that's not normal. That's weird. So we're trying to just make something happen. Nothing's happening. The hens don't care about what we're doing. The tom is just weird. He's just kind of chilling behind the hens. And Toby's like, you ready to crawl? Yeah, let's crawl. So we just start crawling. Logan, you're like a little bit behind us.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to stay back, but yeah, there was a lot of crawling, dodging cow patties and cactuses.
So let's preface this. We get to a spot. Toby climbs up on the berm and spots the birds.
It's like an 8-foot berm.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You guys definitely had trouble getting up that berm.
It was steep, dude.
It was pretty steep.
It was like Ninja Warrior type, like the wall,
So
climbing.
The 3, Toby, Luke, Logan, sneak up, and the other 3 of us decided we don't need to be in there. And he also
no cover.
No cover, yeah.
Once you get up the berm,
they were out in a big open field. So another thing I want to say is what a fan is basically the fans they use, and you can use just a regular turkey fan. I've seen people do it.
Off a real turkey.
But they have like a plastic rubbery.
It's like the front half of a Tom or Jake decoy.
It's just half of it, and it's just the body and the head, and you can hold it, and then they have a real turkey fan.
Like a clamp mount to install your own turkey
mount.
fan.
And it looks great, but it's a half decoy basically.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
And it's no bigger than a regular turkey fan, so to try to hide 3 people behind it's a little difficult.
Correct.
So you get out lined out, obviously, and you stay behind the guy that has the fan.
Yep.
I also want to say this is if you guys ever want to try this or do this, like it does come with a little bit of risk, just meaning that you're hiding behind a turkey, basically.
Yeah. You need to make sure that you're not the decoy.
Yeah, but well, you want to make sure first that it's legal in the state you're hunting in, because there are some states that have outlawed it due to safety reasons. And you also want to make sure, like we're hunting on small pieces of private property that we know no one else is out hunting on. Yeah. So we feel, they've done this for years. It's safe in the manner we're doing it, but just do this at your own risk.
Be
Great
careful.
point.
And always, like we always say, check your local game laws before you try something like this out.
Yeah. So we just start a crawl a little bit at a time. We're knocking off like 5, 7, 8 yards at a time. And each time we're stopping, it was crazy because it's so open. I was able to watch the whole time. And Toby's like, you got to stay right next to me. Stay right next to me. He was intense. I was like, man, stuff's got real quick. We just got here like 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's time to hunt. So we just crawl. I think close to 100 yards.
Yeah.
The tom never really came at us. And we were just picking the next clump of grass that we could crawl towards and somewhat hide our bodies behind. And it more or less worked. And he never responded to the fan. But he did make a critical mistake and separated from the hens at about 30 to 40 yards. We don't know the exact range, but the Weatherby 18i with some Federal TSS put a hurting on that.
Did the job.
She ate.
Yes, put a hurting on that bird.
And just keep in mind, all you audio listeners out there, this video footage is currently live on our YouTube channel, Get Hushin. It's part of the turkey tour we're doing. So if you guys want to go and watch these to understand this podcast better, they are live.
Yeah, I think you maybe missed the exact moment that I shot because of how long we crawled.
Yeah, so as a cameraman, I was very stressed because I had abandoned you guys. You guys kept crawling, and I just felt silly getting that close to birds in the open. So I hung back, and for a good 18, 20 minutes, I was hanging back, and the footage is honestly pretty wild because you can see these guys literally crawling.
It's a full belly army crawl
through this flat field with cow pies and cactuses, and you can see the strutter. And I'm hanging back, and then it finally got to the point where I looked up and you guys were crawling, so I was like, okay, I got to get closer. So I start crawling, throw the camera back up on the tripod to get it, moving very slow, and as soon as I hit record, bang.
Yeah.
First thought in my mind, Logan, you're fired.
Fired
Luckily,
yourself.
However, we were running a new system called the Tacticam.
Yeah.
On your gun, which was awesome because you catch the shot, you catch the audio, the talking back and forth. We also had a GoPro behind the fan, so we got
some stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
It ended up working.
It was
got
cool.
some stuff.
So Toby was telling me about how odd it was that bird didn't come in, and he's like, "Here's the deal. It can be tough to pull in one male bird. If you get two male birds, two toms or a tom and a jake, they kind of like hype each other up.
Yep.
What do you call it? Turkey muscle. They get that turkey muscle going. I did not experience the turkey muscle last night.
No. It was like a standoff last night.
I mean, so the tactic definitely worked. The fan.
It allowed us to basically go straight at them.
It was like, I would call it an extreme spot and stock.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the turkeys were aware that you were there, but they thought you were a turkey.
He just didn't want to come and tussle.
Right.
No, he was kind of passive. Like,
very passive.
Whatever.
But it worked. We killed a bird within being here for 30 minutes.
It gave you guys the ability to get close in an open field.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally hiding behind like a tuft of grass.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It was super open. I was surprised when we finally walked over after you shot how open it really was because there was nothing.
So what were you thinking? Because while we're crawling, I'm thinking this is a long crawl. Like, this is taking a long time. But the birds never seemed pressured. Like, they were just kind of doing their own little turkey thing.
Yeah.
Here was my thoughts, and I can tell you exactly what my thoughts were. We kind of snuck back and tried to get to a place where we could kind of see what's happened, but we could see nothing. There was a little rise in front of us between us and you. And I don't, being in the moment, you probably thought it was a lot longer than it was, which happens. I think it was probably only like 10, 15 minutes maybe, to be honest.
Probably, yeah.
And so we were just talking. I just met these two new guides, Rob and Keith, super cool dudes. They've done this hunt a lot. They're very experienced. So I was kind of quizzing them about exactly how this works. But in my head, I've hunted turkeys a lot by myself, and I've hunted turkeys a lot with other people that know more. And typically, like, no one ever kills a bird first time out. Like, we've hunted with some of the best. We hunted with Hunting Public last year or 2 years ago. I've hunted with some guys that know they've killed some birds.
Yeah.
Never, like, in my head, I was like, this will be cool. Like, hopefully Logan gets some really cool footage. Luke has a good time, like, getting in close. Like,
get some cactus needles in his elbows.
Cactus needles.
It'd be perfect.
All the good things. And, we blow the stock and, hey, high five, that's a win, right? We always talk about wins. I was like, this would be cool. So we were talking. I kind of forgot, like, you know, you guys were even out there stalking, and all of a sudden the gunshot went off, and I was just like, no way. There's no way he just killed that turkey. And so in my head, I was just like, okay, so this is working pretty good.
Yeah.
And which it did. I mean, like I said, it didn't, and we'll get into this later, but it allowed you to get close enough to shoot a turkey in the wide open, which is crazy.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great way to start the trip. Like, kind of just a whirlwind of what just happened.
Yeah. And so we get the turkey, get some pictures. Logan killed it on the camera. We talk, high five like you do. You're excited for your buddy. Like, cool experience, man. The sun's going down. The light was absolutely
great
perfect.
sunset.
Beautiful.
I mean, and, you know, in my head, I'm just like, and I do this all the time. Like, anytime I go on a new hunt, or even a hunt I've been on, I always have these expectations of what I think is going to happen, what's going to really happen, and how's it going to be, right? So that happens within, like I said, the first, let's say, 30 minutes we were here. I'm like, what a killer trip so far. So, fantastic first evening. Sun's going down. We get back in the trucks. We're not far from camp. We get back to camp, meet the rest of the group that was here that had been hunting for the previous day. And I have to say this, too, which we forgot to mention. When we showed up to camp, right, when we rolled in and no one was here,
Oh, yeah.
only thing was here was dead turkeys.
There was
You're
7.
right. 7 dead, and they only started hunting the day before.
And I'm like, what is this? Like, there was 7 dead turkeys in one day, and we show up. So we get back to camp, meet the rest of the group that was here. It's all a bunch of super good dudes. Very different, come from different backgrounds, live all over the country. Had a great night, had a great meal here at camp, and go to bed with high hopes and expectations for the next morning.
Yeah. So we decided, well, Toby basically said, Casey, Luke, you're both shooting now. Like,
Yeah.
you're both bringing a shotgun. And we went out first thing in the morning this morning.
Yeah, he
Oh
did.
my
He
goodness.
definitely laid down the law. Like,
This is happening.
because in my head, I'm like, dude, if we go out, and I feel like this way with like elk hunting or deer hunting. I'm like, not everyone needs to pack rifles because we're probably not going to all kill elk, or we probably don't all need to kill elk
At the same time.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not being gluttonous, but it's just like, let's set our expectations. Like, let's get your elk killed, and then we'll move on to mine or to whoever's.
Sure.
So, but he definitely made the point to be like, you're both packing shotguns. I'm like, sweet, I'm ready to shoot.
Which was a good decision.
Luke had another tag, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being the first guys in camp, we stayed up a little bit late last night. And turkey hunting's a little bit different than bear hunting. A lot of guys don't go bear hunting in the morning. It's kind of a more laid-back thing. So you can stay up late, have fun, catch up, wake up, have a good breakfast, and then go get after it in the afternoon. Turkey hunting's very different. You want to be in the turkey woods before the sun ever decides to rise.
Ideally, if you can find them in a roost tree and either make a play, get in position early before they even come down, or wait for them to come down, which is what we did this morning, and then kind of figure out how you can use the terrain to your advantage and make it happen.
So 5:15 a.m. came real quick this morning. Got up, had an amazing breakfast, made some plans. All the different guys left, and we headed out. Drove, another 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to a spot, and immediately Shawshank picked up a tree full of birds.
What we count, 12-ish?
I think 12 or 13.
Yeah, 12 birds up in the tree.
Up in the tree. They're about 300-400 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
So we got there at the perfect time. The sun was just starting to rise. Like, we could just barely start seeing.
It was too late for us to go in and get in position because they would have seen us, but we were able to just wait for them to come off the roost and then figure it out.
Because a very, kind of like a traditional way of hunting turkeys, from what I know, and especially if you're trying to like decoy them or call them, is you put birds to bed the night before, because turkeys will go and roost in a tree all night, and you know the exact tree they're in, and you just kind of have to make a play of, you know, what way are they going to come out of the tree, because they'll pitch down out of the roost tree in the morning, and most guys will be set up with decoys out or calling. Turkeys will come down, hopefully they come into you, shoot them. We got there too late to do that, and so Shawshank was just like, we're going to wait for them to come out of the tree, see exactly where they go, and then we're going to go make our play.
Yep. So they come out of the tree, and let's just say they head to the right. I don't know which direction that was. They went to the right as we were facing them. So we kind of figure out how to use the terrain to our advantage. We get down in a little creek bottom, use that as far as we can, and we got to start working our way up. And we get to about where we think they should be. Actually, I got to pause. There was so much wildlife.
It was Narnia, man.
In this little creek bottom. What didn't we see?
It was beautiful.
We saw there was ducks going off. The ducks did not appreciate that we were down in there.
No, it was like their sanctuary.
I mean, nonstop.
I've grown up always hearing about upland birds in South Dakota, right? Like pheasants is what most people talk about.
Yeah.
I never even thought about sharp-tails.
Sage grouse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, turkeys, obviously, pheasants everywhere, songbirds galore.
Pheasants were cackling all over the place.
It was like an audio track of like what
I felt like we were in an aviary.
If you watch the video of this morning we're about to explain, that isn't ambient sounds that Logan added.
Yeah.
We watched the video back, and it was just like, what?
There's so much bird
Because in the
sounds.
moment, like, I wasn't noticing that.
You kind of shut it out because you were focused on the turkeys.
But you watch the video back, and you're just like, we're in Narnia. We're in the bird Narnia.
100%. It's like sun is just rising. Temperatures are perfect. We were literally watching one of the biggest coyotes I've ever seen run through a field and chase sharp-tail.
And the sharp-tail didn't even care.
No. That was so bizarre.
They were flying like 5 feet away from the coyote. I'm like,
it was like,
what is this?
We stopped and just like turkeys were on hold. We're like, what is
I was trying to walk
on?
myself through this, and maybe this is true, maybe this wasn't true. But yeah, we could clearly see sharp-tails and the coyote heading towards the sharp-tails. And I say he was making like a 75% effort to chase them.
Yeah, he wasn't full into it.
I feel like he's tried it a lot, and they just fly. But these birds would just get up and fly a flush for like 15 yards and land back down.
It was like they were like playing almost.
But I was trying to walk myself through this later this afternoon while we were driving all over. And I was like, maybe their babies have hatched, and their babies were there, close, and they were hiding, but they didn't want to leave them, so they were trying to lead the coyote away. I don't know. I don't even know if if sharp-tail
It did
babies
seem
have hatched.
weird. Like whenever I'm hunting and you jump on sharp-tail, they just go.
They bust and then they coast for miles. It seems like.
Yeah, that's not what these did.
No.
So we literally have a coyote hunting sharp-tails like 100 yards away
Deer
from
everywhere.
us. Deer everywhere.
Mule deer and whitetail.
Yeah. Just like
good
the
mixture.
most beautiful sunrise ever.
Mallards are circling us.
Yeah.
Geese are everywhere.
I'm like,
it's
I
crazy.
felt like we were put back in time almost, like.
Yeah, like if we would have been like one of the first people to come across the plains,
yeah,
is that what it would have looked like?
It's
I
just
bet
like
so.
wildlife galore.
Yeah,
and if you've been to South Dakota, you might know what I'm talking about. It did feel like we were pioneers because there's nothing around.
Yeah.
There's nothing close by. There's no town. There's no like very few buildings.
Yeah.
And there's just animal life everywhere.
It's a lot of habitat.
Lots of habitat.
So we're working this creek bottom, and we get up to the right of the roost tree, and the turkeys are not there. We're like, that's weird.
Because they pitched down to the right, and there was just a little rise, and we thought for sure we were going to come up over that rise.
They're just going to be in this little meadow. It's going to be perfect. We'll pull them out to the edge, and boom, they weren't there.
No, nowhere to be found.
So we back off of that upper kind of meadow just a little bit and work around the side, not all the way down in the creek bed, but kind of side hilling across. And we do that, and then Keith says, hey, be careful because there's a lot of just little finger draws and whatever, crevasses, cuts, coulees, who knows what they're called. So we start going a little slower, but the birds are making no noise.
Zero.
And as much stuff is happening around us, coyotes everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they should have been making some kind of sound.
Toby made mention of something, and I didn't hear exactly what he's saying because we were in hunt mode, but those mallards were going nuts.
They were
like flying circles around us, and it was like they were annoyed with our presence, and they were letting us know.
Yes.
But if you've hunted turkeys enough, like a noise like that should gobble a tom.
A crow, an owl, they'll just...
Yeah.
That's what he said. He's like, I'm kind of bummed out that those mallards aren't making those turkeys gobble.
Yeah. So we were like, how did they evade us? Yeah, they got away. Well, I think we went one more little finger draw, and we're just kind of we got exposed for just a second.
Yeah,
there's no way around it, and I just caught a glimpse of a hen.
Well, I think we should mention that you got exposed for 1 second because you're 6'10".
No, 6'2".
Luke has a lot better angle than we do.
So I see a hen,
Luke
just
spots
barely,
him immediately.
and so I'm like, do that kind of like, oh no, we may have got busted, and I'm trying to like stop all my buddies,
Yeah.
And I think that the hen did see us.
I
Because
agree.
Right after that, all the hens were going single file out just directly away from us. And clearly they weren't moving much before that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say they were moving. They were definitely filing out of that little cut. Well, how many were there? 8? Was there that many?
Yeah.
I think the whole group was still together.
So there was 10.
Yeah.
10 hens started filing out. And if you've hunted turkeys how I have, and that happens,
it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
I was this close, and I just ruined it again.
And so I should point out, when I saw the hen, it was 30 yards, 40 yards
it was
away.
that close?
It was not far, because it was on on the near side of the draw.
Okay.
And it was starting to feed down.
Yeah, they were definitely moving away from us then. Yeah, as soon as I could see turkeys, I zoomed in. I just had flashbacks to just get as much footage as you can, because you're not going to see those birds again.
Yeah.
And then
this is the game changer part, though.
Yeah.
This is when my eyes were opened.
This is where reaping really
So the 10 hens filed out, and the last 2 were the toms. And you could clearly see they were toms by how much bigger in size.
They looked like they were just waddling up the hill.
It's like watching a big black bear try to move, right? Blah, blah, blah. And these 2, they were moving too, and they started running up the hill. And at this point, I'm like, cool,
there
we're this close, but, on to the next one. On to the next one. And
so we all crouched down.
We hunkered down.
Fan went up.
Yep.
And I had that thought in my head. I think you guys did too, where it's like, well, that was great. We saw birds. And then Toby hit the call twice.
If you watch the footage back, we thought that.
Oh,
the birds, for whatever reason, got to the top of the hill.
And they looked back.
The 2 toms.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And Toby's done this enough that he knew, get everyone close to him, throw up the fan. And that's what happened.
He got intense.
He got very intense.
He's like, get right on me. Get right on me.
He literally grabbed me, which I appreciate. I'm trying to learn this new tactic. He grabbed me and pulled me right off of his hip. And then as soon as they stopped and gave him a look, it stopped him, right? And then he clucked at him.
And then those feathers, they puffed. One of them just instant strut.
And we saw turkey muscle.
Turkey
in
muscle.
real life.
This is where turkey muscle came into play. And this is what Luke was explaining earlier. The first bird he shot was the only strutter, the only tom in the group. And Toby said, if you can get 2 of them, they're more likely to come in. And that's exactly what happened. They turned, they looked.
Yeah.
He made some turkey noises. And in my head, replaying it back, I clearly remember it looked like the one turkey looked at the other one. I was like, hey, dude. The other turkey looked back, goes, bro, let's go whoop this guy.
Yeah, this guy's encroaching on our turf. Let's go give him a beat down.
And they got that turkey muscle is what they call it.
Dude, and straight up on a line.
Straight at us.
Just
puffed up, looked at us, committed to us, and just, on a string.
Yeah.
And so they came down off the hill. We lost them.
Because they're in this little valley that we can't see.
And Toby said, get ready, they're coming. And once again, you always lose track of time in the heat of the moment, but
it was not 30 seconds.
No, they got to the bottom, and I was waiting for their heads to pop up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the right of Toby, Luke's on the left of Toby. He said some things which I didn't hear. So I was concentrated. Anyway, and it was, like Luke said, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and I was like, man, they're not coming.
Yeah.
That's just how you think, I think anyway. And then they gobbled. And, another 10 seconds, and you could see what I saw first. What did you see first?
Toby, so it's weird. He's using the fan, so he actually can't see that well.
Yeah.
So he had the fan facing, let's just say, a little bit to the right. And I see the top of the fan of the bird that I ended up shooting left of where he appeared to be looking. And I was like, it's over on the left. And he kind of opens the feathers a little bit and peeks through, and he's like, get ready, get ready, get ready. And they just, at that point, they didn't stop. They came straight to us. And the only thing that stopped was
shotgun blast.
Shooting the birds.
I always have like these little, like, I call them like screen grabs of like certain things in life. Maybe a hunt or something. It's like this one thing I remember. And what I remember from that the most is just seeing like the sun glistening off the tops of their fans as they were approaching.
They were like so white.
Oh,
the tips of the fan.
Yeah.
And so these birds came in, and we were not in good position. We had 6 guys this morning.
I was in the wide open.
Logan's like literally right behind us, just standing straight up, basically.
No, I was on my knees, but I wasn't behind you. I was off to the side, which I think actually helped because they were so focused and honed in on that fan that they came right in, and it made for killer footage.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hide.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the footage, you got to check it out.
It's honestly by far the best turkey footage we've ever captured.
It's
just some of the best I've ever seen.
Dude, they just looked mad. For my screen grab of it was they were running in so hard, I could like see the feathers on their breast just like bouncing.
Turkey,
like just coming in.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, how close are we going to let them get?
That's the question I had in my head too. Is like, I think these guys like to try to get them as close as they can.
They do, but I mean, Toby knows what's up.
Well, he spoke to this after. He said, typically I would let them come right to our laps, but we were in such a bad spot.
With 4 people behind us?
Yeah, he actually called it out. Did you hear him say, shoot him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And mentally I said, I will shoot the second that Casey shoots. Because I had shot one the day before, and I wanted to make sure you got one.
Yeah.
First.
I would, just as soon as he said that, I think I remember thinking, like 1, 2, 3 or what, but I just remember
it was
putting
perfect.
That Vortex red dot scope right on his head, and when I shot, and then it was probably like 3/4 of a second after Luke shot, but it sounded like just perfect.
Boom, boom, boom.
No, to me at the time it sounded just like 2 shells, like boom, 2 turkeys just freaking hit the dirt.
It was one of you guys, but as they were running, one of you guys like under your breath was like, "Tell me when to shoot," and then he just says now. And then there was like a second delay in case he shot, then you shot. And it was just like, boom.
They were at what, 30 yards at that point?
It pretty much looked like we rehearsed it.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy about this is that these guys have a lot of videos from the years past. Mm-hmm. And so the whole reason why it was so critical that we packed 2 shotguns is it's going back to the turkey muscle, right?
Exactly.
And Ken said this tonight. He goes, we've called in a pile of singles. But most likely we call in doubles because they feel like it's their brother or whatever, it's a buddy they've been running around with. If that guy will just commit a little bit, then it's easier for him to bowl. It's like getting in a fight. Like, you got my back, I got your back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got you, bro.
Yeah, and so typically when they shoot birds, they shoot them in doubles. And every video I watch that Ken has shown me, it seems like these guys are so dialed that they shoot at the exact same time. And so I was like, we didn't really rehearse that. But when it happened, I was like, dude, we nailed it.
We executed.
Execution.
Yep. That's what matters.
That's huge. Anyway, so that was our morning. We killed 2 awesome toms. 3-year-old toms is what they said. And, that's when my eyes were open to this fanning thing. Like, they've talked about it. We've heard about it. I've watched videos. But sometimes it takes you
got
a personal
experience. Experiencing it firsthand.
Because in my years of hunting turkeys and all my failures, I've seen that scenario many of times where I got too close, they saw me, and they run, and they don't stop. And I've tried calling at them. I've tried holding up a decoy, like a full body, and that doesn't bother them. But these guys are so dialed with what they do, and they've done it for so long, that I think Toby knew that if he could just get them to look.
Oh, Toby, he knew for sure.
And if you remember, he was like, nobody move. As soon as they hit the top of the hill and look back, he goes, nobody move.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is intense.
I was scared.
Well, I think
might want to fight me.
Dude, the other incredible pro to reaping is like, yeah, you can get them close and stuff, but the big advantage to that is where you may have like 4 decoys and you're in a blind or something, but you are separating the male birds from the female birds.
Yes.
So you're not dealing with that issue of a conjoined flock. When you're reaping and they commit, you got male birds coming at you. You're not worried about hitting a hen or anything like that.
So what's crazy to me about after I saw that and some other experiences we've had so far is, and I know the age-old argument between people is turkey hunting, turkey calling, similar to elk hunting and calling elk?
All I know is we're going to start carrying a giant bull decoy.
Well, it's true
reaping.
because, and I've always said, I think it's not the same. You're not chasing an 1,100 pound or 900 pound animal around with giant antlers on his head, but the tactics are very similar.
They are.
And this reaping thing has really got me because what they've told us since we've been here is you have to get into that magical zone with them, right? With if this thing is really going to work, and usually that's like 90, 80 yards and less. If you can get to that distance, they'll usually commit. With elk hunting, I've experienced the same thing. You can get a bull bugling a couple hundred yards away, and you guys can bugle back and forth all day long. But to really get them pissed off and get them to commit, you got to break that distance, right? You got to get within that 100 yards where he thinks that he's like you're encroaching on his cows, and you're going to come still.
Yeah,
and that's very similar with how these guys run their fanning program.
It felt more like although it's different style of using a decoy.
Yeah.
It's still kind of decoying them in, I suppose, just in a different way, and you're able to hide better. But it felt really cool. It felt more like a Western turkey hunt.
100%.
Yeah.
And what's cool too, and Keith was explaining this to me last night when you were stalking that bird, is you don't just hold the fan up. What he likes to do a lot of times, and I noticed Shaw doing this, they turn.
You're presenting the fan.
You present the.
For sure.
Excuse me. You don't just show him the fan, you present him the fan. Because if you watch a tom bird out doing his thing, strutting, that tail's always moving.
Yeah, they kind of kick it off at an angle, like they'll turn around.
Yeah,
and like look at this.
They're showing
look
that
at
thing.
My sail.
They're showing that thing off.
Yeah.
So what Keith was saying, he like a lot of times likes to like get a piece of brush and like a piece of sage in between them, and he'll just do that with just the tip where they can just see the tip of it. So they're like, "Uh-oh, what's that?" But he's actually like putting on a show with it, which is really cool.
It's next level.
Next level.
Yeah.
Reaping. Yeah, so that was our morning hunt. Luke tagged out. I mean, within a total of maybe hunting for 45 minutes?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which, that's awesome.
Pretty solid. So, yeah, we get back to the trucks, and we go and try plan B and go look for more birds, and didn't see much.
The wind really kicked up.
And then it was a nice day. I mean, this was only at what? Like, we got back to the trucks at like 8:30.
Yeah.
And cruise around, go and glass a bunch of country, never really find anything that we could hunt. Get back to the house, and man, it got warm fast. Like, it warmed up to like 70 degrees quick.
Real fast.
So we have our lunch, and then we cleaned all the birds. At this point, we shot 2 this morning. Another group shot 1. So we had a total of like 10, 11 birds in camp.
Yeah.
So we spent, a majority of an hour cleaning them out, but getting them on ice, getting them in the freezers.
Oh, I got to say something because I thought it was cool. When I was cleaning my bird, the one I shot the night before, I realized that it had 2 beards.
Double beard.
The second beard was like 4
strands
of hair, but it was a distinct, separate, like a half-inch base away from the main beard.
That's a double beard. You know what's crazy is I guess you can score these things.
Yeah.
And they measure the length of the beard.
Yeah.
And so if it has a double or a triple beard, which isn't unlikely, that you get all the measurements. That's probably a booner, dude.
Boone and Crockett.
Boone and Crockett bird.
For sure.
That's the thing, right?
I'm taking that. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we get back to camp, have lunch, clean out some birds, take some really cool pictures with the whole group, because half the group had to leave today because they were done with their hunt. Mm-hmm. Had tagged out, and then we had to give up Shawshank, but we've been wanting to hunt with Mr. Ken Byers.
For sure.
He's a stud. We've known him for a couple of years.
He's the reason this whole thing happens.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super legit guy. What's crazy, what I love about this camp, and you look at Ken Byers and you look at Shawshank, they've done this for a long time. Like, I don't know about Toby, but I know Ken's been doing this since 97?
96.
96, so
96.
27 years?
Yeah.
Or my math's way off. 25 years?
Yeah.
They've had years where they've killed
60.
I think their record is 63 birds in 2 weeks.
63 toms in 2 weeks.
So he's seen a lot of dead turkeys. He's been on a lot of successful turkey hunts. Ken and Toby both get super excited.
Every bird.
It's
like it's the first bird.
Like a first bird, and I love that.
Yeah.
I've hunted with people and seen guides and outfitters that it almost seems it is their job, obviously. And these guys aren't guides or outfitters or anything. They just bring their buddies down. But you've seen somebody that's done something a lot, and it just becomes like numb almost.
Yeah.
Not with these fellas. They are so excited, so pumped. Like, even if they're not on the hunt, they want to know the details. Like, where'd you kill them at? How did it happen? Like, I absolutely love that because that just shows me they're super passionate about what they do still. And I think sometimes people lose that.
It is fun to see how worked up Toby gets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely don't take it for granted. They're not spoiled or anything like that.
No.
It's like so exciting every time that it happens.
I've been with people where you're hunting with people and they're like, okay, you gotta do this, and they're either like real bossy or condescending.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, come on, man, just follow me. Neither of those is remotely true for Toby. He was just like, we're gonna get this done, and he was more into it almost than I was. I mean, I really wanted to shoot a good turkey, but
I mean, after we shot those 2 turkeys, it was funny watching the video back. Me and Luke get so excited we can't even say words. We're making noises.
We're just basically grunt, like caveman type grunts. Awesome!
I think we missed
dead turkey.
I think we airballed 2 high fives.
Yeah,
we were just psyched.
And then the last phrase you hear is Toby going, "That's what I'm talking about."
He was so pumped.
That's what we
so
do.
Cool. That's what we do.
Oh yeah, man. What a great trip. I mean, and we're like halfway.
It's the half point right now.
So I mean, I think half the part of what makes a camp successful is just the camaraderie of it, right?
No doubt.
You have your buddies in camp that you've hunted with for years, and then you might have people that you've never hunted with, but you might know.
Yep.
And then you meet new people. And, dude, typically what I've experienced on hunts is that you meet a lot of good people, a lot of great people that you're probably going to be friends with for a while. Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened so far on this trip.
No question. I think that's kudos to Ken. I mean, he does a good job of intentionally bringing people in that there's a lot of outdoor industry people here.
Yeah.
But none of us are like competitors.
Yeah.
But some of our lanes may cross a little bit, and I think that's good. It's healthy.
For sure.
It's fun.
So it's been super solid so far. Guys, some things happened tonight. Right, Logan?
Let's just say biggest bird of the trip so far.
Monster Tom.
Monster Tom.
Less than a first down away.
We had some things happen and so the weather turned. I mean, it got super windy.
Yeah, I said it got windy earlier, but I meant like really in the afternoon is when it really picked up.
We're actually have been expecting a storm that's actually hitting right now. It's supposed to drop like 5 inches of snow, and it's not really supposed to be great weather until hopefully like noon, 1 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But anyway, tonight it really threw things off. Like, we got on some birds. We had one of the most intense experiences I've ever had in the turkey woods, I would say. So we hate to do this to you guys, but we're going to leave you hanging.
You got to go. You've enjoyed the audio experience. Now do yourself a favor and go enjoy the video experience.
So I'd say this to you. If you haven't watched the first day video, go and check it out. We'll link it, or I guess this audio. Go and watch the first video. We just uploaded it. And then come back tomorrow to our YouTube and watch
Day 2.
Some things that happened. And to be honest, like, we're talking about an afternoon hunt that we haven't put up yet. That it's going up tomorrow. And then we have another full day that will add to it.
This is the halfway point, folks. And we, like Casey said, we are experiencing some weather. Tomorrow is a total coin toss. What happens?
It could be terrible. Could be awesome.
Don't say that. Could be amazing.
Here's my hopes.
Awesome.
Here's my hopes, and I think this is what might happen. I think the morning's going to be a bust. I don't think really anybody's planning on getting up early because it's supposed to be snowing and blowing.
Yeah.
But I think towards middle afternoon, it's going to calm down. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some snow on the ground. and I think the birds will be out and ready to party because really they weren't out that much today.
No, they hunkered down, man. Just like elk hunting, when storms coming, they hunker down, and then when the storm breaks, i.e., Brian's Bowl in Wyoming, stuff happens.
Especially as a long period, like it really started at like 1 or 2 today, and it's supposed to go to 1 or 2 tomorrow. So, you know, if it's anything like elk hunting or deer hunting, after a storm breaks and that storm's happened for 24 hours or maybe more, I really like to be in the woods right after that.
Yep.
Fun things usually go down when a storm rolls out and you have some good weather, a little bit of snow on the ground. And I'm assuming that's the same with turkey hunting. These guys have ideas to how to hunt turkeys in the snow too, which if we might try some of those things tomorrow.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So, anyways, guys, we appreciate, as always, watching or listening to the Hushlife podcast. Appreciate Luke having us down here. You know, we work with a lot of different companies. We've been very fortunate. Luke and the boys at Weatherby are some of our favorites. We got some more hunts planned with these guys moving forward this year.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you don't know, we have a Hush Weatherby rifle. And you can go check it out at www.weatherby.com. It's the Hush Weatherby Vanguard. We offer it in 5 different calibers.
I believe so, yes.
And we launched it last year, and that rifle has done some things.
It's doing really well. And actually, this is a pro tip for you, Casey. It's one of the only rifles that you can back order directly from us.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. So on our back end system, we've set that to back order. So it'll take maybe sometimes 90-ish days to fulfill the order, but you can back order it and kind of reserve your spot. The market's been nuts.
Pro tip
in general. So if you need a gun by this fall, you need to get the order
on
soon.
Go check it out, guys. Go ahead, Logan.
I was going to say, also, you guys, we're still doing our giveaway. If you haven't heard yet, get out from underneath that rock. We are going to be taking one of you guys to New Mexico with a bull elk tag in your pocket to be hunting with us, along with a grip of gear. Every dollar spent at gethushin.com. Get your name in the hat one time. You buy a hat for $25. Your name's in 25 times. You got to get your name into play. It could be you. That is still going on. So go check that out.
Yeah, guys, if you ever wanted to go elk hunting, if you're a seasoned elk hunter, or if you've just done it a few times, this elk hunt's going to be special. We're going to New Mexico, which is one of our favorite states to hunt elk in. We've had a lot of success down there. Like Logan said, all you have to do is get your name in the hat. Anything you purchase gets you in to win. And one of the many things that else you'll win is the Hush rifle we were just talking about. So make sure you guys are entered in to win that. It's going to be an amazing time. And guys, we will see you next time on the Hushlife podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's the intro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Outro.
tuning in. We're new at this. Thanks for tuning in.
I think you nailed it.
Later.